Obalola born with a premonition on his life that he was going to end up just like his dad. He's going to be a street king, but he was going to die very early, just like his dad. Obalola lost his dad when he was a baby, and his mom, knowing the consequences of the life his dad lived as a street king, did all she could so that he doesn't end up like his dad. Even though he didn't meet his dad, he still took after him, living and doing exactly what his dad did. Obalola was so intelligent and smarter than his age. He had two best friends, Ify and Gift, and then one crush, Tenny, whom he loved so much apart from Ify and Gift. After one of his escapades on the street, he's summoned by the Olorogun of Isaleko because he had pointed a knife at a woman's baby and snatched her bag with a gold ring. The woman goes to report him and he's summoned to return the goods. That is where he meets the two men that are going to make a pivotal difference in his life, Nino and Kasim. Nino, who is so moved by Obalola's intelligence and his brains, decides to adopt him, but Obalola's mom would not agree to that. Obalola's mom, having heard what her son did, sees him with Nino and takes him to her priest, where he's sent to a river, where they beat the boy with a broom in the name of praying for him to cast the evil spirit out of him so that he doesn't go back to the street. That is where Obalola eventually goes to Nino, and that is the turning point in his life. Obalola runs to Nino after his mom had given him all the beating in the name of prayer. He's taken to a good school, given a good life, until everything comes crashing down on Obalola. Now, there definitely has to be a sequel to this movie, because in as much as it ended quite well, you realize that Tenny saw what Obalola did to Kasim, her dad. In the part 2 of Gangs of Lagos, it is very obvious that Tenny will be coming back for revenge. Tenny returned from America. Even though she had a good life, she still has the life on the street. And it's very clear that if she was able to point a gun at somebody when her life was threatened, then she would definitely come back for revenge. Seeing the look on her face when she saw her dad lying lifeless on that car. I'd rate this movie an 8 out of 10. 8 for the characterization. The characters chosen were just the best fits for the roles they were given. Also, part of the 8 goes to the story. The story is the life on the typical Nigerian street. The big lot use the boys on the street for all the dirty work, take all the money, while they spoil their children, send them abroad to live better lives, while the people that are really suffering go through all the debt to give them the money, yet make nothing out of their lives.
That's who Tenny is. I mean, welcome to Nigeria, where the people that actually do all of this, commit all of these atrocities, like send their kids abroad and, use other people's children to do that dirty work. I'm that kid they sent abroad. So Tenny kind of like had an easy breezy life until, what happened. You didn't have to watch a movie to know what I'm talking about.
If you've watched to this point, write in the comment section your rating for the movie. Write in the comment section your rating for the movie. Gangs of Lagos is a good film. Regardless, there were a few hitches here and there. The background of Gifts was not really elaborated. We know the background of Ify, not so much, but we know his mother. We know where he comes from. We know what is about him. We know a little bit about him. We know the life of Obalola. We know his mom. But when it comes to Gift, we are not so sure who her mother is. Was she adopted? Was she picked from the street? Where did she come from? Who does she belong to? Who is her family? We knew nothing about that when it comes to Gift. Also, when Obalola was lashed in that river and everything was done, his mom was apologizing to him. We didn't see so many scars. At a point, I thought, okay, maybe it was because it was dark and his body was dark and we couldn't so see the scars. And then his mom touched him. His mom held his hand and asked him to forgive her. He didn't show any sign of pain to show that, oh, where he has been lashed is paining him and all that. And I felt like maybe he did that because he hated what his mom had done to him. But then when he went to Nino's house that same night and Nino saw him, Nino just touched his arm and this boy was shouting out of pain. I was like, really? Did he really feel so much pain? Because he didn't show it while he was in the river. His mom held his hand and you could see that that grip of his mom was even tougher than the touch Nino gave him. But he didn't show any signs of pain, and it made it look like at some point he had forgotten that he had just been lashed. Also, when Obalola and Tenny were in the car and Ify was also going to BJ, the barber's room, to talk to him so that he can leave Lagos, we realized that when Tenny and Obalola were attacked, Ifeanyi was now going to the barber's room, and then they passed out in the car and all that. And then Obalola woke Tenny up. Then they found out that they were being attacked. Almost at the same time, we realized that Ifeanyi had eventually gone into the room, spoken to the barber, had left, and these two scenes were were happening at the same time. So we're giving the impression that these two scenes were happening almost at the same time. And then Tenny is brought out and she pulls a gun, shows it at them, and then Eko and his guys retreat and Tenny goes into the car, they move and they eventually go to her apartment and all that. While all this was happening, Ifeanyi was on his way to the club to go and have his performance. That was when he was attacked. We see in the movie that while Tenny and Obalola were having a good time in their room, that was about the same time Ifeanyi was being attacked. But then when Ekun was narrating what happened in actual sense, we then realized that Ekun retreated after he had received a call that Terrible had eventually shot Ifeanyi. That means that Terrible shot Ifeanyi before Ekun retreated. But before then, we had seen in the scenes that Obalola and Tenny were having a good time in the room while Ifeanyi was being shot. These two scenes were not properly timed. If you get it, if you've watched the movie, you'd realize that we were told one thing at one point in time, and on the flip side, it is a completely different thing. It was made to look as if while Obalola was having a good time in the room, Ifeanyi was being shot. But when Ekun was narrating it, we realized that Ifeanyi was shot almost at the same time when Tenny and Obalola were being attacked. The timing of these two scenes were not so correct for me. I was asking myself, was it that they were trying to tell us that, okay, these things happen, but it wasn't at the same time? If not, it shouldn't have been put together side by side as it was in the movie. But if it was happening at the same time, then when Ekun was eventually narrating it, he shouldn't have made it look like it was when Terrible shot Ifeanyi, then he received a call and then had to retreat for Tenny to leave. My two most amazing characters were Malik of Ikorodu Boys, who played the character of Teen Obalola, and the character of Obalola when he grew up into a young man, character played by Tobi Bakre. These two people finished the role that they were given. They delivered their characters. They did so well to portray it as it is. Malik brought so much life to that character, and I'll give him all the thumbs up. He's making us proud. Gangs of Lagos is a good film. Go watch it. It's showing now on Prime Videos. You don't want to miss it. The name still remains Mami Abnapukia. Tell me what you loved about the movie. If you haven't watched it, tell me you're going to watch it because you must. Share with me what your expectations are for part 2 of Gangs of Lagos. Catch you in my next video and do well to watch the other videos. Screw.